What episode is this, Bundy?
25.
Episode 25.
I'm on every 5, 15, 20, and 25.
Yes. I just got back. Was it yesterday I got back? Day before? So I got a little story, Justin. I don't know if I told you this. When I was away, I was getting... I was in Columbia outside the airport, and on the way to the airport, I take my AirPods out, and they were in my pocket, so I'm going to listen to them in the taxi on the way to the airport. And I don't know, I'm on my phone. I never get around to listen to them. I'm jumping out. I'm going to check in. Then I get in the airport. I'm checking in. I reach in my pockets for my AirPods. Gone.
Yeah.
So I know I had them out in the taxi, so now I'm beside myself because I got 2 flights. I got to fly to Miami and get a connecting flight like 3 hours later, and it was delayed. So now I have no AirPods. So I fly to Miami, and I'm running around the airport. As you know, Miami sucks. The customs is about a mile away, and Bruins game was on. So I finally get to my gate, and I'm like 3 hours early. It's a long wait for the connecting flight. So I go in this bar, watch a little of the Bruins game, and I leave. I'm in the terminal. So I get on the plane. Now I sit in my seat, and I get this fat guy in the middle, and I'm pushed up like against the window. So my phone gives me an alert and says, your AirPods are traveling with you. So I'm like, oh, great, I didn't lose them. They're in my bag. Because I've never had this alert. So I've never tracked anything. I don't know. So I'm looking, there's like some map of them moving around the airport, and it says they're with me. So I hit the button, the alert. I hear it beep, 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 and my backpack's up in the bin. So I'm psyched, right, that I didn't lose them. So I thought. What are the chances that somebody found them on a sidewalk in Columbia outside the airport, and they were getting on the same flight to me to Miami, and they were getting on the same connecting flight to Boston, and they are sitting in close proximity to me, and I actually hit the fucking Find My AirPods button, and it started beeping. They must have just been so freaked out, right?
That's fun. Crazy.
So I'm pumped. I'm going home. I'm like, I got my AirPod. Get home. Now I'm ripping my bag apart. Now it says AirPods last seen at Terminal B at Logan. And I'm like, all I had to do was get up. Beep, beep, beep. I would have went right to him.
So you didn't get them back?
No.
But they were on the flight?
Yes. Whoever had them was sitting right near me, and I was hitting the Find My AirPods button. And they must have been like, what's the chances that I find these on the sidewalk in Medellin, Colombia, and now the person who owns them is sitting near me somewhere, hitting the fucking Find My AirPods button. I was just so mad that I was so close to getting them back. They were right there.
That sucks.
They were right there.
That almost makes it worse. I think you'd rather them just be in the streets in Colombia somewhere.
Yeah, someone who needed them,
Yeah.
Someone who needed them.
But how could somebody get in your bag if it's overhead?
Oh yeah, let's move that mic a little closer.
Beanshooter, how did someone get in your bag while it's over your head?
They didn't get in my bag.
Well, you said it was up top.
Yeah, well, I figured they
I
were.
don't understand.
I figured my AirPods were in my bag. That when I misplaced them, I was just thinking that the whole time. Maybe I didn't have them out. Maybe I didn't lose them, and they were just in my backpack.
Well, I'm confused.
Well, you get confused easily. I mean, you were Sean Hicks' number 2.
Oh, fuck, here we go.
That's
Sorry for asking. I know you get upset when people...
that's okay. We got to play something now. Because speaking of, that's why we brought on Sean's number 2 here. I'm going to need your passcode.
Fuck that.
No.
Give me an upgrade.
I'm going to need
No
your...
fucking way.
I'm gonna need your passcode, sir.
Yeah. Fucking...
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't work. There we go.
All right. Speaking of the mass murderer Hicks, there's a lot of news on the Hicks front lately with his book, and he had a little thing in the New York Post. It's now his book's tanking again. For a couple of days, it picked up a little on Amazon. The ratings went from fucking 1 point something million down to like 300,000, but now it's just tanking again, and it's dead in the water. And he put a video on TikTok, basically saying, Jim Bulger told him about some unsolved crimes, and he knows who the other man on the grassy knoll was, or something along those lines. Basically threatening to tell on a crime, saying there was some unsolved crimes in Boston and the people who are responsible are, still around. He made a big deal mentioning a certain podcast that he didn't identify by name.
Really?
Yeah, and he was saying, he was running his mouth saying about how Blackstone vetted the book, and they had another attorney who vets it, and there's this big process, which is bullshit. It's just one lawyer that goes over a book before you release it. He's lying as usual.
Yeah.
And I just want to remind everyone who we're dealing with if they don't know. You ready, Justin?
I'm serious.
Now, this is a serious question, and this is an all-time answer from Sean Hicks, the fake gangster from... Now, there's another thing now. He said he's not from South Boston. He's from south of the Neponset Bridge. Did you see that video?
No, I didn't see that one.
Yeah. I think me and you, Bundy, we're both from south of the Neponset Bridge, too, right?
Yeah, a little south.
All right. Okay, let's see. Oh, what's going on? Oh, can you hear this?
The headphones. You get with the headphones.
Put them on, buddy. Oh, no, this is the wrong one. Complete psychopath. Fuck up. Here we go. Myself. Because shut the fuck up. Had enough of you already.
That was a long pause.
Yeah, I
too.
listened to him for fucking 3 seconds, and I want to fucking headbutt his fucking teeth down his throat. All right, we're going to send you a message tonight, Sean Hicks. We got your number 2 here, and he's got some secrets he's going to divulge about you tonight.
Yeah.
The biggest being, as our friend with the bag on his head tells us, he's scared to leave his house, his rented mansion, as he calls it, that he's behind $9,000 in rent on. He won't leave his house, and the only videos we see him are in that house with those dogs. Has he gone anywhere without them dogs? What's the story with him?
Hey?
Yes, you can go now.
No, he doesn't go anywhere without the dogs. He doesn't go anywhere to begin with. And those dogs are... 3 of them are, what do you call it, feral, whatever the fuck they are. They just come from the woods.
Yeah.
The older dog's actually a nice dog. He's a good boy, but he's not a killer or anything. But yeah, he hasn't left the house. He's ordered more. What's that? How do you get that shit to your house? GoPuff. He spent more in fucking GoPuff on his wife's credit card than anybody in the fucking world.
Yeah, he's scared to venture outdoors, I believe.
Yeah, and then and the problem is we try to see him as he's getting to the door, but he has I guess the guy I talked to, he has him just drop it off at the steps. There's no signatures, there's no nothing.
Yeah.
So he could be in the fucking bedroom hiding underneath the sheets, get everything dropped off.
Now you actually took something, one of his weapons.
Yeah. Where is it?
And you brought it on the podcast. I don't even want to get my fingerprints on it. God knows what.
Nice.
As you can see, with anybody that knows anything about these, they come in different sizes. Like OJ, if it doesn't fit, you must have quit.
Yeah.
He says his hands are like, we used to call them girl hands.
Yeah.
He's tiny. He's a small, I mean, you could put your hand around his wrist. Most men you can't. With him, you could almost double lap it.
Wow.
So these are his little teeth benders, but by the time he jumps up and hits you,
Yeah, he's very short, right? We've never seen him, actually. We've seen one video with him on the street with the guy Devin there.
He said He said on the oath, he got all mad last week on a podcast and started screaming that he's 5'10". Why is everybody calling him a midget? He's 5'3", maybe 5'3.5" on a good day. With sneakers, 5'4". He's not over 5'4" at any given. You could put fucking cowboy boots on this guy and he's still under 5'5". You could put those fucking stilts that they wear when they do drywall. He's under 6 feet. He's and if anybody ever sees him, just say that burns him more than anything.
Yeah.
We used to tease him. We used to say, if you ever went to Vietnam, you would have been one of those tunnel. They put you in the tunnel, the short guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he's really upset though lately. I'm sure now that he's really hearing it from Blackstone Publishing because the words got out on this guy, and you could tell he's blowing a gasket over it. About this podcast and people coming on and talking. And I actually talked to his ex-wife's sister a little bit the other day about this guy, and she told me a little bit about him. And basically, he's just a grifter, con man. He's not from Boston. He's been floating around. He lived in Florida. Not sure. When he was with the sister, he had a few scams. One of them, he claimed to have cancer and pancreatic cancer, and it was spreading to his lungs. He went through that.
Living in Mass Ave too, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was living on Mass Ave. I don't even want to get into that, what he was doing with his ex-girlfriend out there, but it was nothing honorable. I don't know if it was that girl, another girl. I don't want to, even. I'm sure whatever girl was with him in the past is, the last thing she wants to do is hear about this guy. But yeah, a few things. He claimed he had cancer, starting to GoFundMe. Another time, some lady hired him to do some work on his roof, and he threw himself off the roof, and it backfired to an extent where he seriously injured himself. It was either a broken back or a broken neck, where he was actually in a fucking rehab hospital for like 3 months. Yeah. And he sued the lady, her homeowner's insurance, and tried to sue her. Some old lady that actually hired him to do some work on her house.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. What else has he done? The Turtle Boy thing, when Turtle Boy wrote something about him where he killed one of his dogs, then he said someone broke in his house and stole his dog. Like I said, that's when I used to break in houses, Bundy.
Yep.
That was my goal, to steal pit bulls.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go after the jewelry or the money. I'd get this sheet and I'd corner the pit bull, and I had this technique where I could wrap them up real quick, and I had a bow, and it was like a sack. I'd throw it over my shoulder, and I'd run away with the pit bull. They're worth more than jewelry and money, the pit bulls. Yeah, someone broke in his house and stole his pit bull and threw it out of a moving car on 290, and the dog got killed. So who knows what the true story is? He must have kicked the dog out of the car or something, and then
that's more like it.
Yeah, he's creating a cover story, but things are starting to heat up on the Sean Hicks front, because the book's tanking. He's hearing from Blackstone Publishing. They just put a stop. They didn't pull the book, which is surprising. The publisher, Brendan Deneen, the one who published it for him, hopefully he gets fired from Blackstone for this, because he knew, a lot of people knew, and that's a strange thing with him, is the publishing company knew because we let them know, and a lawyer sent them a letter about that, saying if certain names are mentioned, they were going to sue. So they knew ahead of time, and they still went forward with the book. The guy, James English, who does the podcast, he got countless, comments and DMs, even from me, saying the guy you interviewed is a complete fraud. And I don't know why anybody doesn't ever answer. No. Like, if it was me and I had someone on and they buffaloed me, I'd be like, hey, once in a while,
they can check themselves. Too.
Yeah, no, but
they just don't bother.
Yeah, once in a while, one gets by the goalie. He got me. But no, nobody says anything. They just like they don't answer, and like, I get Blackstone that they gave this guy like $50,000. I know that he already blew, but so they're trying to recoup their money. So I get it somewhat, but where's the journalistic integrity where they know, like they knew before that book. They knew now we're dealing with a con man, and we got buffaloed here, and they still went forward and did it. So we're gonna, things are heating up on that. I'm sure Sure, there's going to be a few other shoes to drop real soon. You can tell that he's starting to crack because he's releasing videos yelling about this podcast and talking about unsolved crimes that Jim talked to him about. So things are starting to heat up. So I'm interested to see what comes of it. Mr. Bundles.
Yeah.
Bundles is back at it, looking good.
No, thank you.
Dropping some weight.
No, it was 22 pounds.
A girl noticed him in public the other day.
Yeah, she
Might
did.
have lied about where it was, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, said he was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I do look
Oh,
cute,
that was-
right?
I know
I
you're
do
down,
look cute.
down at the fucking blind school.
She, yeah, Perkins. Perkins School of Blind. She recognized. Bundy's been getting recognized lately.
Yeah.
You know.
Mostly at Market Basket.
Yeah. Bundy's one of those guys, right? Now he's starting to be an asshole. Like, hey, don't bother me. I'm out. I'm out with my.
I ain't got time for this.
Yeah, I know. Can't you see? I'm shopping. Yeah. So a girl saw him in public, and she was fawning over him.
Yeah.
That's why we get that. So that's why we got to keep the bag over your brother's head here, because
Was she good looking?
Yeah, she was.
Wow.
I could just
she
see a little
was.
profile picture. I don't follow her back on Instagram, but she messaged me and said,
Yeah.
"Oh, because I posted a video of Bundy saying." She said, "There's my cutie."
Yeah, she's from Methuen. Yeah. I got that from her.
Yeah,
I should start wearing the fucking bag out in public.
You should have got her number, Bundy. What were you
Yeah,
thinking?
I shoulda.
You didn't get a number?
No.
I'm sure she's watching.
Oh, bundles.
I'm sure she's watching. No, another thing. When I was away, somebody I know. I was just talking about this with him, and somebody I know. Listen.
Fucking broads calling.
Yeah, telling you you're cute in the middle of the podcast. Now he's getting text. So when I was away, there was a little plane you had to take, like a little puddle jumper plane somewhere, and someone I know is like got their pilot's license recently, and they're buying this nice plane, and they want me to fly places with them. And I'm not gonna lie. People are like, yeah, right,
I'd
do
go.
it. No, the first time I ever went anywhere, I went to Belize. And when I left Belize, I went to Guatemala and Costa Rica. And when I left Belize, there was you had to take this little plane, and it was me and like these three little Mexicans. And we walked across this tarmac, and there's this big fat pilot, and I mean, the guy's 350 pounds if he's fucking 3 fucking ounces, right? So we climb in this little thing, and he's by himself in the little thing, and we're wedged in, the three of us in the back. And we're flying over the ocean, and I'm locked in on this guy. And the beads of sweat are rolling down his forehead, and he's got the fucking face cloth where he's wiping off his face. And I'm just staring at him, and I'm just thinking medical emergency. Yeah. What happens if this guy just has a massive heart attack right now? You know what happens?
Yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're probably on like autopilot for a little while. You fly for like 5 minutes just knowing you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
You know? You're fucking calling people saying, I love you, and the fucking thing just spirals down into the ocean. You know? So yeah, I'm only getting on a plane where there's, they got the computer with these planes now, it's all computed. These guys don't even fly it, They just punch it all in, and it flies, and it fucking lands. They don't do much. They go to sleep and get drunk and do whatever they do. But yeah, flying with just one guy, and I don't know how to fucking, if he passes out, I don't know how to grab the wheel and do anything. I'm all set.
Well, you can watch.
Yeah. You can watch. Back at the sober house. Neighbors are moving out tomorrow. I hate most of my neighbors,
Yeah.
but
A lot of them.
Bella and Brittany, they're good people.
Yeah,
Since I moved,
they're awesome.
they're good people, man, and they're leaving tomorrow. And I know they watch the podcast. I just wanted to shout them out and say they'll be missed. They've been on that street forever, long before we got there,
Yep.
and just good people. I wish them the best. That's gonna suck. But hey, things happen. Neighborhoods change. We've all been there and moved on.
Yeah.
before we got here tonight, Pizza Maria downstairs, my Albanian mafia. I mean, my Albanian friends down there. Those guys are the absolute best. Those guys are the best downstairs. They brought me out a platter tonight of these Albanian sausage and chicken and steak and onions and that little it's almost like a yogurt sauce with like olive oil in it.
Yep.
They're like, this is on the house, Beanshooter. So those
That was good.
Those onions?
there was onions in. Yeah, Bundy ate most of them.
I didn't see any onions.
Oh, you get it?
Bundy, and those steak fries. Steak fries are good. And I was telling a story. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but they had the red ketchup bottles, Justin. The squeeze bottles.
Old school, yeah.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you the story about that when I was younger? So yeah, when I was 17, I used to go to Lawrence and get Coke off this Dominican connection I had. His name was Dione. I actually know his son now. I met his son years later, and he's like, "My name's Dione." I said, "Well, I only knew one other Dione, and he was from Lawrence." And he said, "Was he a Coke dealer?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "That's my father." I was like, "What the fuck?" I knew him in 1987, 88. He goes, "Yeah, he did 10 years in federal prison. He was deported to the Dominican Republic, but Dione was a good guy." And we'd go meet Dione, and he, like I've said before, he's the time I first started dealing with what is it, metric? With the way they break up the kilograms, they'd sell 31 and a quarter grams and 62 and a half and 125, which is an eighth of a kilo, 125 grams and so forth. So, you know, being American, we'd buy a quarter pound, it would be 112 grams. But when I'd go and get them off these Dominicans, I'd get 125 grams when I bought a quarter pound. And at the time, I just thought I was getting a free 13 grams. But it was actually how they broke down the kilo. They didn't break it down in ounces, 28 grams. They'd break it down so it was exactly 31 and a quarter, 62 and a half, 125, 250, 500, and so forth. So we'd go meet him, and we get a big 8-ball or a quarter, 125 grams or 250, and we meet him in the seafood restaurant in Lawrence, or different places. So I'm with a friend of mine, Mike Larkin, rest in peace. He's no longer with us. And the Dominican would always come in and sit down, and he'd have it folded over in like a couple of paper towels and hand it to me under the table. And before he come in, we're eating like a fisherman's platter, and the kid Mike Larkin grabs the red squeeze ketchup bottle off the table, and he unscrews the top of it off. And he goes, spits in the red, Lowell, Mass, baby. Spits in the red ketchup bottle, screws the top back on, shakes it up, puts it back down on the table, and he's just looking at me smiling. And I just looked at him. I said, "Why? Like, why?"
That's the end of ketchup for
And
me.
I've ruined many of people's ketchup. I said, "Why?" And he said, "What, Lee? We'll never fucking eat in here again." Yeah. So every time I see a red ketchup bottle, I tell that story. So many people will send me pictures. They'll be out to eat, and they'll send a picture of that bottle, and they'll be like, "Hell no!" They're asking for the packages, or the little Heinz glass bottles. You screw the top off. But yeah, just so you know, those bottles. Be on the lookout for them. Yeah. I still use them. I mean, what's the chances, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
there always could be that chance.
Yeah. Like in McDonald's, you got the big vat of it. You push it. Nah.
Yeah.
No.
No more ketchup.
Yeah. So watch out for them. There could be a little guy in there before you, Justin. Like, who would do something like that, right? Yeah, that's fucking. Sean Wick would probably he would probably do something like that.
Sure.
So back at the sober house, we got a speed bag update also.
Yeah.
Speed bag's doing all right. He's I think he's in Jamaica Plain now. He's away somewhere. He's away somewhere, and he's getting straightened out. He called up and we talked. He's doing a lot better, and he felt bad. He apologized, and I always take a lot of people back, but he was turning on all the stoves and the ovens, and like could have fucking blew the house up, or burned it down, So he's doing better now. We're gonna see. I think he's gonna go to a halfway house, and we're keeping in contact with him.
He needs a higher care.
Yeah, he didn't even high level of care for sure. He didn't even know that Bundy had a cell phone and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing that we had that. You know, it's still got all the stuff.
Get
that took
everything.
care of it.
Yeah.
You all right over there?
Yes, sir. Fucking thing. You live in fucking fear the rest of your life. Have to wear a fucking bag.
Yeah.
Feel like
I've
I've been nice the last couple podcasts, haven't I? Respectful and everything.
Yeah.
This guy, fuck this. It's coming to an end with him soon.
Yeah. We can go to his house.
Yeah, we got seriously like. Where can we find this guy? Is he in? It's Worcester, right? He lives in Worcester. It's like
Is it Worcester?
yeah, it's in
Get a
Worcester.
hold of what's his name?
Who?
His buddy that was
Imagine
on
if we caught him
Yep.
coming out of a variety store or something. You know?
They would just film it too.
Yeah, of course. That goes without saying,
Yeah.
Bundy. That goes without saying. But yeah, he runs his fucking mouth on his couch and
Yep.
like he's this fucking big guy. But you know, if we saw him,
Piece of shit.
yeah.
I saw.
Crying like a little girl.
Yeah. Bundy gets his hands on Mr. Wick. That's gonna be one fucking video.
Yeah.
That would be
A lot of people would like it too.
yeah. So many people have reached out to me, whether it's cops who arrested them, or whether it's girls or ex-girlfriends or
Yeah.
family members, sisters, or you name it.
Just
People,
a piece of shit.
yeah, like thank you for fucking for
Yeah.
That Krav Maga shit he was.
Yeah.
You know what we should do? We should get get 5 or 10 grand, right?
yeah,
And say you can fucking get, but you got to fight for it.
yeah,
So he's got to fight three minute, 2 minute rounds. Or
Yeah.
whatever. For Krav Maga, whatever the fuck he wants to use,
yeah.
and then see.
You can give them brass knuckles. Right?
Yeah, you say he can come in there with one weapon. That's no gun, but just like a knife or a fucking
Yeah.
tomahawk.
An anvil.
And then it's then it's game on. The cage gets locked. It's game on.
Yeah, and you might get
Yeah.
yourself another red teardrop.
Yeah.
Fucking imagine that. Jesus, he's so short. You know what? I remember fucking around. Just you couldn't really fuck around with him too much because he'd have you whack. But just like kind of wrestling with him a little. He's so fucking short. You can't get underhooks on him. You can't get nothing on him because he's fucking. It's like a child.
Yeah.
You know, you're fucking head slapping, but there's nothing you can't get on it. And
He's
you can't get his
borderline
leg. You can't
midget,
get his
right?
leg unless you're fucking on the ground.
Yeah.
He's borderline midget, right?
Yeah, that's his whole angle, I
Ah.
think. He's tough.
We used to call him Fire Crotch too. Fucking had a nice fucking red bush down there.
I actually I read a chapter in the book someone sent me. And he said when he was 14 years old, there was a guy, they called him the Whale. Oh, the Whale.
Yeah.
DeLong, Joe DeLong, but he says the Whale. So he just uses nicknames that are known throughout, like, Boston criminal circles. He doesn't say his name. It was DeLong, right? Wasn't the Whale? Was it DeLong? It was Joe, not Joe DeLong. What?
The North End, right?
No, that's no, that was the
Big
fucking
cheese.
No, not the Big Cheese. Yeah, there's the Big
It was
Cheese
the
in the North
Whale,
End.
the last
There was
one was-
Vinny the Quahog from the North End. Vinny the Quahog was a fucking he was a rapist and a killer. They thought he killed and raped a lot of broads like that were missing.
Really?
Take them out in the boat. Yeah, he used to sell Quahogs in the North End. He's a bad guy. You can Google that one later, Lenny the Quahog. But not Lenny the Quahog, not the Cheese Man, D'Annunzio. There was another guy, the Whale, and I think it was upstate. I think it was the last name was DeLong. There was Joe DeLong. I think the Whale was DeLong, but neither here nor there. It's a name known in criminal circles. So he says there was this guy, they called him the Whale, and
Right.
over my Uncle Toby's house, some fictional things that Howie Winter would sit at the head of the table, and then when Howie went to jail for the horse race fiction, Uncle Jim Whitey was there every Saturday night, divvying up the money, and they'd send me to do things, and so I'm reading this, and he says. So one guy went to collect money and I stole his car and I took it to this chop shop run by the Whale, and the Whale disrespected me. So he's saying he's 14 or 15 and he hires some prostitute to distract him. And he goes, I gave her an envelope and she come out and I hit him in the face or whatever he says, a chain or some nonsense. And, it's all descriptive in the book. He dropped to two of his knees with blood spurting out of his head as, he was goggling on his own blood. And I hit him 5 more times and like saying he killed him or whatever he says. And he says, then his Uncle Toby and Jim come in And they dragged the guy out of there, and then they gave him the keys to the chop shop and said, "This is yours now."
Wow. Good for him.
Yeah, at age 15, and then he was running the chop shop. Then 20 cars a day, in and out.
Right there.
200 a car, and So I'm reading this book, and it just makes me fucking hate this guy even more. Because he has no story. He's a fucking loser.
Yep.
He has zero story. Like every one of us here, we have a story. Like
Yep.
I could tell stories all night that happened, and of course people tell stories, right? I think everyone always embellishes, and I try not to. I tell a story, I tell it, as I remember it, but it's like catching a fish, right? People, I guess it's human nature to embellish a little, but this guy has no story.
No,
other than pimping out girlfriends and scamming old ladies and like people that were in jail with him. He was in PC. He didn't wear shower shoes in the shower. Just a complete fucking Viking oxygen thief. Nobody. But he's a con man, and he conned a major publishing company and a lot of these podcast people. But you know what? He didn't con us.
No.
He didn't pass the smell test.
Nope.
3 seconds into that James English podcast,
No, he was a fraud.
the first time I heard of him, I got to say it, Kenny Casey called me up, singer for the Dropkick Murphys. All right, so Ken Casey, he called me up and said, "Mike, do you know who Sean Hicks is?" And I said, "No, I've never heard of him." And he said, "Well, he's on all these podcasts saying he ran with Whitey Bulger, and he's talking about the Mullins gang, and he's stuff we've all read in books, right? The Guston gang, people from Boston, that have read these, books." And he was saying about Buddy McLean from Somerville, and these are I don't know when it's from, the early 60s, I'm going to say. So he just called me up and said, "This don't make sense." So I was calling you to see if you ever heard of this guy or knew his name. And that's the first I heard of him. And right away, I just started laughing. I didn't even have to call anybody, and ask if they knew this guy. But I did eventually. But people started calling me after I outed him on the podcast. A lot of people called me up that are still around, that were running in those circles, and they were they were just thankful that someone's finally has somewhat of a platform to call this bozo out on. And they tried to stop the book from being published because he was on all these podcasts, and all he was talking about was Uncle Kevin and Uncle Jim and Uncle Pat and Howie, and no relation to any of them. And so they didn't know if this whole book was just going to be about them. And that was their fear, that he's going to be talking about them when he doesn't even know them. And that was the thing that started it. And now it's become somewhat of a crusade. And obviously we're getting to him, which is good. And hopefully we hit him right in the pocket. We don't want him to, this get turned into a fucking movie or something. Then we'd really just have to go fucking wipe him out.
Fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, fucking Skinner with his fucking dogs.
Yeah.
He was my dog on the couch.
Dog fucking him.
There's a certain podcast out there. Yeah, we're gonna be at your front door, Hicks. See if he's getting all fucking mouthy then, that fucking midget. All right. What else we got going on? The Bruins. What the fuck? What was the final? 4-2?
I'll double check. 4-2 or 5-2, I think.
Empty netter at the end.
Let's see. 6-2.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
That's the end of that.
the Celtics at home last night. Cleveland was plus 600 money line.
Yeah.
They win by what, 24?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't, earlier in the year on a VSiN network, Paulie Howard and them. You watch VSiN network?
What is it?
VSiN network? That's a gambling site. They're out of Vegas. These guys are good. They're shops. And they have a show every day on, I think it's on Nesson, but it's VSN or VISN. They call it the VSiN network. They're out of Vegas. And these guys, that's all they talk about. They've been on for a few years, is just gambling and odds and spreads and everything like that. And earlier in the year, somebody on there, I don't think it was Paulie Howard, he called the Boston Celtics the Buffalo Bills of the NBA, and I said no. And this is what I'm afraid of now, where they go through the regular season just dominating everybody, and then just choke in the playoffs. And we can't have that. And I thought we were good. I thought we were going to blow out Cleveland, especially at home, and to lose like that. Porzingis out. That was bad for us last night. That was a disaster. We need Porzingis in there. We got the New York Knickerbockers. What's the score on them? They won 2 playoff games in a row. You gotta shout out the fucking New York Knickerbockers. I mean,
Pacers won tonight.
oh, did they?
Yeah.
All right. So 2-1. I mean, when's the last time New York was up 2-1 in a playoff series? Going way back to Stocks and our boy from Cambridge, Ringe and Latin, Patrick Ewing. Way back then, right? Charles Oakley. Who else? That's going back. So we still got at least we got the Celtics in the playoffs. The Bruins down 2-1 now. That sucks. We always have a tough time with them, but they're not dead. They can come back. I can't believe Swayman gave up that many goals again. Didn't he give up 6 the other night too?
Something like that, yeah.
What the fuck? Got the Sox. But everything's Celtics right now. Everyone's got all their eggs in one basket with the Celtics. And this is just one of those years where if you can't pull it off now, I mean, I don't want to say you're never gonna, but you either come alive and when the chips are down and it's playoff time, that's when you shine. Not when you fucking choke. So hopefully they can pull it off. The Bruins, we'll see what happens with them. What else we got going on? Bundy the Sober House. We got to bring Paulie Black on. I talked to Mickey Ward last week. Mickey said he'd come on. Then I texted him yesterday and he didn't answer me. Yeah. We got to get Mickey out here. Hopefully he comes through. We got next month's the Boxing Hall of Fame in upstate New York. Every year, me, Mickey, and Dickie go there, and we have a good time. My good friend Michael Moore is getting inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame this year. He was a heavyweight champion. He was a light heavyweight champion. He's a real close friend of mine. He lives out in Florida now. So it's going to be great to see him get inducted. That's going to be awesome.
Now they pay you for that?
No.
They don't?
No.
They just...
Yeah. They probably should get fucking paid.
Yeah.
They fly him out there and put him up in the hotel, but they get enshrined in the official Boxing Hall of Fame, which is a cool thing. I met so many fighters out there. I was talking earlier with, I can't say his name here, about meeting Jake LaMotta out there because he was talking about Raging Bull, the movie Raging Bull.
Right.
Yeah, Jake was the best. So it's always cool going out there. Fighters are always cool. They're like hockey players. They're real personable and they'll talk to anybody. And, you meet basketball players or football players, most 99.9% of them, baseball players, they're prima donnas, they're assholes. You know what I mean? Not that I'd ask them for an autograph, but they're just all, they treat you like you're a fucking piece of shit. I don't know how they can be like that, They grow up idolizing players and then they act like they're better than everybody.
Yeah.
We're going to close out on... will this be out tomorrow? When will this be out?
Either tomorrow or Sunday.
All right, we'll try to speed it up. Tomorrow, grand opening. We got the grand opening of New England Strength and Fitness on Main Street in Tewksbury and Evolution Jiu-Jitsu. We got Coach Brock Dokas, who trains a lot of the high school athletes all around the Merrimack Valley and even as far north as New Hampshire. He's got some kids there. He trains a lot of high school athletes, and they're all great kids. I was saying it earlier. A kid come over to me and said, Beanshooter, and he was a kid, Anthony. He was from Chelmsford, and he shook my hand, looked me in the eye, and real nice to meet you. And I was saying, man, this is the last bastion of like good kids. The way it is now, man. Kids. You see kids that are parents that keep their kids in sports and athletics and training and like it's like young kids that go in the service. And he was saying earlier, you don't see that much anymore either. With kids, I'm going to the Army, I'm going to the Marines. I mean, you still do, obviously. And those are men and women. I don't want to say they make men out of you, but they make you an adult and responsible. And like I said, when someone comes up to you and shakes you in the hand and looks you in the eye, you're like, wow, there's. Because it's, the older you get to, you're like, these kids today, they suck. But I mean, it's kind of true with a lot of these young kids. It's just, there's no respect for anything anymore. And And I'll say it, I grew up, I fucking hated cops. They were always arresting me and this and that. And I'm not up here saying fucking cops are great or anything, but I wouldn't want to be a cop of this day and age. Kids just have no respect for any type of authority, whether it's a cop or a teacher. Or, you see kids beating up teachers now, and it's a fucking tough time. You know what I mean? And when you see kids that are like Brock trains these kids, they're just all great kids. Like Kevin's kid there, Brady and Jack. Great kids, just it's good to see. So I'd like to give them a shout out. Those guys are the best over there.
Vincent Craig.
Oh yeah, Vincent and Dan Craig.
Vincent and Dan
Craig, two great kids.
And Kevin Richardson's two boys.
Yeah, Kevin's two boys, Jack and Brady.
They come up, they look at you right in the face, shake your hand, almost stare you down.
Emmett Logan.
Emmett.
Another one, fucking shaking. Hey, thank you for coming, this and that, just
Thomas Brown came back this week. Same thing. Just all good. You can tell the difference between those kids and other kids. I mean, not that they're because they're good in athletics, but just because they're respectful and they, they got confidence in themselves. That's why they do it. They're not being cocky or anything. They're just
Right.
Yeah. So there's hope for the future.
Yeah.
There's hope too.
We need Bundy down there training the kids.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine he walked in, it'd be like the whole place would stop being Bundy.
It would be good, but they've been open already because they bought the gym from somebody else, so a lot of the old memberships are there. So I've been going there and working out. They got the cold plunge there. They got the sauna. They got the free weights, the machines. They got everything there. They got the jiu-jitsu upstairs. So it's the whole fucking deal, man, and I'm
it's a nice place.
Yeah, it's fucking great. So I'm pumped about that. That's tomorrow, and we're gonna keep you posted on Sean Hicks because, like I said, things are heating up with this. I don't know what's going on with him, but they stopped the sale of the book right now. Or there's a hold on it.
Good.
It's like when you order it, it's saying you can't get it for a month. Some weird stuff going on, and he's barking about all the bad reviews on Amazon. Yeah, he's upset about that, huh? Oh, you got your username 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how you get your rocks off.
Use their real name.
Yeah. So, Sean Hicks, we're not done with you by any fucking stretch of the imagination, my friend.
Is done.
That's the thing too. They stopped the sale of the book. That means they stopped the money flow. So they stopped the money flow. That's why everything stopped. They're not giving them another penny.
Yeah.
Good.
It's because there's got to be something going on. Like you said, if not, they would have kept at least dishing that book out as fast as they could. Because if not, it's going to be fucking used for this winter. And you.
In your wood stove.
Exactly.
Justin, can I have a water?
Of course.
No, we don't finish this up. All right, that's it. That's episode 25. 25, quarter of a century. All right, thanks for coming on, Mr. Bundles, and we'll get at you next week, and hopefully we get some more news going on for Mr. Hicks.
Yeah.
Go Bruins, go Celtics. Let's fucking go.